On this episode of Main Street Magic, I'll review Disney's All-Star Music Resort and give some quick thoughts on Disney Springs' newest edition, Wine Bar George. This is episode 75 of the Main Street Magic podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host Jeremy Stein and I'm at the All-Star Music Resort for a solo trip and recording this episode. Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at mainstmagic. And don't forget to listen to the Capture the Magic podcast at ctmpodcast.com and subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to Capture the Magic. Now they release new shows every Monday and Thursday, and Jared and I release a new Diz Dudes episode every Wednesday on that very same feed. We've also created a Facebook group called Capture the Magic Community, so make sure you go out and ask to join. So today's episode is just going to be me, and I want to do a quick run through and a trip review of sorts on the All-Star Music Resort. Now, before I dive into talking about All-Star Music Resort, I do want to talk a little bit about the brand new Wine Bar George, and this is the latest addition to Disney Springs. Now, this opened the day before myself, Jared, and Jamie met up to check it out. And so I just wanted to run through it a little bit, and then when Rhonda and I go back, or John and I go back, we'll give you a more in-depth review. The description from the Disney website says, make yourself at home in an estate-style wine bar offering shareable small plates and more than 100 wine selections from acclaimed wineries in up-and-coming regions, handpicked by Master Sommelier George Miliotis. I promised trying to say sommelier several times before I pressed record, so hopefully I got it right. What you have to know about a Master Sommelier is that there are only 229 in the world. And George Miliotis was one of the people that helped turn California Grill at the Contemporary Resort into the destination restaurant that it is before he was actually hired away with his business partner to create Seasons 52. But then he planned to leave Darden Restaurants in order to open this wine bar at Disney Springs. So this bar has around 135 different wines, as well as cocktails, beer, and cider. Now with the wines, there is a very small selection that you can get on tap with a 6-ounce pour. Most everything else you can get in either a 6-ounce pour or by the bottle. And then they have a very special selection of both white and red that you can get either 1, 3, or 6-ounce pours. These can range in price by a lot. In fact, we noticed a red wine on there that a 6-ounce pour was $500. Needless to say, I did not order it, although I was tempted. Anyway, our waitress actually told us that the night before on opening night, somebody ordered a bottle of it, which was $2,500. So if you have some money to spend while you're at Disney Springs, I would highly suggest the $2,500 bottle of wine at Wine Bar George. So let's talk a little bit about the setting, which is amazing. And when they say this description of an estate-style wine bar, it really is. It feels like looking through, I don't know, like a Southern Living magazine where they potentially show you mansions and estates all over the world. And this does look like something from one of those mansions, and it's got a great feel to it. Now, we actually got right in, and they placed us downstairs. Now, we had Jared and Jamie's daughter with us, so this is kid-friendly. You know, I know it's called a wine bar, but they were absolutely amazing with us having their daughter with us. They told us exactly where to park the stroller out front. They got a high chair, and the waitress was great in interacting with her and making her feel welcome and talking to her about what was on her iPad and everything like that. So this is a place that you could bring children. I would say where we sat downstairs was very loud. Now it's a much smaller space, and it has a wraparound bar, and then there are tables all around it. So it just got loud. Jared and I did walk upstairs, which is very large and much more spread out. And there's some couches, and there is a bar up there as well, but it seemed much more quiet. So depending on what kind of evening you are looking to have, I would recommend that you maybe request to be upstairs. So let's talk food. This is mostly small plates or appetizers, I guess tapas, but they do have some shareable family style selections. So let me just talk first real quick about what we tried. The first was the porchetta spiced pork cheeks with triple cheese polenta and an orange gremolata, and this was $16. Then we had the crispy mac and cheese bites, which had a tomato sauce and pecorino, and that was $11. By what I would call fancy appetizer standards, these prices weren't that bad. The mac and cheese, there were 4 small bites of that, so certainly shareable. And then there were 3 of the spiced pork cheeks with plenty of polenta. Now, I'm a big food guy. I love watching Food Network, and I had heard about pork cheeks and that it was the most tender part, and I'd always wanted to try them. So the moment this menu was made public a few weeks ago, I knew this was something I wanted to have, and it did not disappoint. The triple cheese polenta was incredible. Of course, if you like grits, you're going to really like polenta. It's very similar. And then the pork cheeks, while it says spiced, they were not spicy, and it was like amazingly tender pork without an overly pork flavor. So I would definitely recommend these. And the mac and cheese bites were perfect. They were, I've made fried mac and cheese bites at home, and that's essentially what it is. It is a homemade mac and cheese that has been rolled up, breaded, and deep fried. What I really liked about these is that they were surprisingly light for being 1, mac and cheese, and then of course 2, being fried. A couple other items on the menu. Of course, you have hummus for $9, spiced olives for $7. You have a jicama salad for $10. They do have a grilled romaine for $10. Chicken skewers for $13. Grilled octopus, if that's your thing, for $16. House-made meatballs for $14. And then a burrata, which I honestly have no idea what that is, but it says San Marzano tomatoes, olive oil, and grilled bread for $15. I would actually be really interested to try the grilled octopus here. I'm not a fan of octopus, but I don't hate it. I had it at Flying Fish most recently, and I was very disappointed as it was overcooked. So I would like to try it at another place, see how good it is. Then they do have a charcuterie board and an artisanal cheese board that are $26 and $24, as well as a big board, which serves 2 or more for $54. I did see my friends over at Disney Travel Secrets, got to go to a media event, and I believe it was the charcuterie board they had, and it looked absolutely incredible and looked like plenty to share. Now, under their family style plates, they have a skirt steak for $59 and a wine braised chicken for $49. I did see the skirt steak go by us, which comes with roasted potatoes, chimichurri, and seasonal vegetables, and it looked like enough to potentially share between more than 2 people. But even if only 2 people shared it at $59 at an upscale restaurant, that's not too bad. So this might be something you want to try. They have olive oil cake for $7 as dessert and a key lime pie for $7. Would love to try the key lime pie. And then one thing that I found very interesting was the chocolate experience. And it's a pairing demonstration of 3 wines and 3 chocolates for $25. And I can guarantee you Rhonda and I will most likely try that when we go back. So overall, absolutely loved this place. While I said it is very kid-friendly, this is definitely a setting that would be amazing for a date night or an adult-only night. I would probably go more towards lunch and early dinner if you do have children, because like anywhere at Disney Springs, while everything is basically family-friendly, as you get later into the night, let's be honest, it may get a little bit more crowded. It may get a little more loud. You may not have control over things the table next to you says. So just keep that in mind when you go to any of these type of, Disney Springs or Disney nighttime experiences and restaurants. So upon first visit, and we'll go back, probably I'm going to say in July might be the next time we have a chance to go back there, or maybe June for Father's Day weekend. This might be a great place for us to go and check out with our own kids. And that is one more thing to mention. From what I saw, there is no kids menu. So you may want to bring snacks, or you may want the kids to eat ahead of time, unless your kids want to eat grilled octopus and spiced pork cheeks. That's all up to you, man, and whatever your kids like to eat. I would love to see mine eat that, but I don't think they're going to do it. So all in all, go check this place out when you're there. I think this is going to be a very popular spot, and I only see it going up from here. And one thing I almost forgot to mention. So Rhonda and I often drink Pinot Grigio. And it's just the type of white wine that we like. We don't traditionally drink reds. We don't really drink anything dry or something that's overly sweet. So Pinot Grigio is right in the middle for us. And when I went to order one, they surprisingly had run out of the one that I wanted to order. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go with a Riesling because I'm literally looking at the price per glass. And as you went up on the other Pinot Grigios, it got pretty expensive. So I thought I'd get a same priced Riesling, which can be overly sweet, but I figured I'll go ahead and give it a try. Once our waitress let us know that they were out, I asked what was most comparable on that Riesling side. She said she would be back. And when she came back, she let me know that she went upstairs and talked to George himself, who was there and sounds like he will be there very regularly, and he recommended a specific Riesling for me at a much higher price per glass, which he told her to give me at the price of the glass I had requested. So I thought that was really cool that, first of all, the waiter and waitresses were empowered to go up and talk to George himself, and that he would give a recommendation to, little old me who typically has drank wine out of a box, and make sure that I was having the absolute best experience that I could. Now let's move from the upscale and fancy Wine Bar George over to the extremely upscale and fancy All-Star Music Resort. Now I believe that this episode can pretty much cover the other two All-Star resorts, which are All-Star Sports and All-Star Movies. Now these are value resorts, and they are considered in the Animal Kingdom resort area. Obviously, with value resorts, you're going to get a little bit further from the parks, but we're not too far down the street from at least Epcot and Hollywood Studios, also Disney Springs, and my bus ride to and from Magic Kingdom was not too bad today, so they aren't too far away, and you can certainly still use the internal transportation, or just drive your own vehicle. Now, All-Star Music opened on November 22nd, 1994, so this resort has been around for a little while. And it is in need of a bit of updating and refreshing, which they have started over at All-Star Movies. So all of these rooms through all of the value All-Star resorts are going to get the same treatment that Pop Century had. They're going to have a little bit different artwork, but you're going to have your same plain white hospital walls, and you're going to get upgraded to a queen bed and then a queen Murphy bed as well. Now, currently, these rooms are about 260 square feet. You have 2 double beds. You do have a TV. You have a table and 2 chairs, full bathroom. You still have your mini fridge, and you have a side table that goes in between the 2 beds. And there are 1,604 rooms in the All-Star Music Resort area. These are all standard suites. Now, you have a couple different sections, and obviously everything is based after music. So you get your larger-than-life decor and theming all throughout the resort, the same way that you do at sports and movies. And you have a Calypso section, the Jazz Inn, the Rock Inn, Broadway Hotel, and then, of course, where I got stuck was Country Fair. Now, like any value resort, and honestly a lot of the moderate resorts, these are large and they're spread out. They have a motel setup where you enter your room from the outside, not the hotel setup that the deluxe resorts have, which these are all very large. They're spread out. The country suite or building that I'm in is very far from the front where the food court, shopping, and Melody Hall is, which is their main building that has guest services, the arcade, gift shop, and everything else. Now, I don't mind walking, but in the morning when I went up to get hot water for tea, it certainly is a little bit of a trek. I could walk out to my vehicle and drive up there, but not really a point. So again, when you do room requests, even when you book your room, you may want to look at a preferred room if you prefer to be closer to everything. Now, the average rate on these rooms is $189 a night. And this is where I guess value, depending on what you think value is, I can understand you may not think that this is a value for $189. For me personally, to be within the Disney bubble, to be on Disney property, I think $189 is still a rate that I'm willing to pay, because if I go down the street to a Holiday Inn, while my rate may be less, they're going to still hit me with the parking fees, which Disney has now implemented, and a lot of them are going to hit you with the resort fee. even if you're able to get a Holiday Inn down the road for $50 less a night, in my opinion, and it may not be everybody's opinion, I still would choose to stay at an all-star resort simply because it is Disney. It is Disney property, and it's the Disney bubble. You're going to get your nighttime movies. You're going to get your activities by the pool every single day. You get the Disney transportation. Whether you think that's done well or done poorly, you still get Disney transportation. And now they've opened minivans to every single resort. So if you want to pay the $25 for a minivan, you can do that as well. So I still like these, and this is a place that we will stay. We have All-Star Movies booked for the Toy Story Land opening weekend. And a lot of times if I come down for one night or on a solo trip, I will book an All-Star. It's just simple for me. But again, if you think that $189 on average, and again, that's on average. They can be a little bit higher, but they're generally much lower. I've gotten them still for about $110 a night. And as I looked out, even on something like New Year's Eve, we're looking to book, and these were $188 a night. So even on New Year's Eve, which typically room rates are going to be much higher, it's still at that average price. So let's talk a little bit about the dining and about the shopping. So up in Melody Hall, you have the intermission food court. Obviously, this is music themed, and they're selling American cuisine, deli-style market items. For breakfast, you have omelets, pancakes, your French toast, your Mickey waffles. At lunch and dinner, you can get pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, burgers, burritos, ice cream, bakery items, and you can get alcoholic beverages in there. Some lemonades and punches and stuff like that. I had a chicken avocado sandwich on a ciabatta roll. It was a piece of grilled chicken, avocado, lettuce, and French fries. Was very, very good. This is a lot of standard food, but I do think that there's a large selection, so everybody in your family most likely is going to be happy. Now you also have the Singing Spirits Pool Bar, which is located between the pool and attached to Melody Hall, right where the food court is. Of course, you're going to get your specialty drinks, wine, beer, and spirits. And again, that's located at the main Calypso pool area. Pizza delivery in the room. You can, like all resorts on Disney property, you can get pizza, sandwiches, salad, dessert, and beverages, and those will deliver straight to your room. And there are some small additional fees located with that, so just make sure you remember that. Then we have Maestro Mickey's, which is the gift shop and located inside Melody Hall, and it offers a range of items from souvenirs to all-star music-themed clothing. It does have a small grocery section, like most of the on-property stores do, where you can get extremely overpriced snacks, liquor, drinks, and other sundries that you may need or maybe you forgot at home. So, again, with your recreation and amenities, you have the Calypso pool that we talked about. You also have a piano pool, which is much closer to where I am in the country area. You have Notable Games Arcade, the video arcade up in Melody Hall. You have a playground, and there is a 1.5 mile jogging trail that circles around all of Disney's All-Star Resort complex. So, overall, what are the pros and cons, I would say? I think there's a lot of pros if you're looking for an affordable spot that is still on Disney property. And for, and again, we're Disney diehards and kind of refuse to stay off property. That's our thing. I totally get that, not everybody is like that. But I would say even if you were coming down for a yearly vacation and your budget did not allow a moderate or obviously a deluxe, I think All-Star is a great option, and I highly suggest you stay on Disney property to have that full Disney feel. Now, in looking at room rates, if we're talking an average of about $189 a night for an All-Star, you're still looking at the next closest thing in a moderate is probably right now Coronado Springs in the $230 to $250 range. So if you're staying for a full week, that would add up to move to a moderate. If you're coming for a weekend and your budget allows, I would go moderate above. I would stay away from the values. But with a family's budget who's maybe coming down for a full week and you've got kids and you have, you got to pay for tickets and you got to pay for your travel and food and everything else, I still think this is a great deal. And you can always keep an eye on the pricing and look for the lower pricing. Also, if you are an AP holder or a Florida resident, you can get deals. So keep an eye out for those. So really, I mean, the main con would probably be the price. And again, depending on what you consider value, and maybe, the name value needs to change a little bit. Maybe it's like value plus $50, because that's probably where the pricing ends up. I still think these are good. And after they get the refurb, if these prices stay the same, you are getting a lot more with these nice newly renovated rooms. As much as I hate the Murphy beds, the rooms are done really well. For me on a solo trip, 2 double beds are fine. I can easily fit in a double bed. When you have your spouse with you, they do get a little tight. So I'm glad that they are upgrading everything up to queen beds in these refurbs. The theming will stay the same outside. And if you love big giant cowboy boots and maracas and guitars, you're going to really love this place. So that's really about it for me on the All-Star Music Resort. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to go out on social media at Maine ST Magic on Twitter and Facebook, let me know what you think of the All-Stars, and am I just crazy for saying that I enjoy them, because I really do think they get a bad rap when they still offer everything that you need for a great Disney family vacation. You can also go out and ask to join the Capture the Magic Community Facebook group. There's a lot of conversation in there. We post a lot of things in there that we don't post on the regular social channels from Capture the Magic, the Diz Dudes, and Main Street Magic. And when we release new t-shirt lines through the Capture the Magic apparel, you're going to get some special rates if you are a part of that community. So make sure you go out and ask to join, and most likely I'll approve you. Also, make sure you go to iTunes, leave us a rating and review, because it will help the show grow. And if you know somebody who loves Disney or is planning a Disney vacation, we'd love if you mention Main Street Magic and Capture the Magic. Tell them they need to listen, and hopefully we can help them plan their Disney vacation and make the absolute most of it. That's all I got. We'll see you real soon.